Hello viewers, welcome to Sweet Spot. Today we're making coconut pound cake. One of my most favorite nieces suggested making this classic family recipe. It's a real treat. This recipe has been handed down by a generation, handwritten on a card, ripped, a little bit torn, stained, and very well worn. This cake is a personal favorite that I request for my birthday year after year. Hey, let's get started. First things first, you want to preheat your oven to 325. A pound cake is pretty dense, typically requiring an hour of baking time or even more, so you do want an even temperature throughout the baking period. And then we prep our baking pans. I'm using 2 loaf pans, though you could use a 2-pan if you'd prefer. To prep the pans, we need to grease them and flour them. You could use cooking spray, but I like to use butter, and I use a butter wrapper since there's a smear of butter on it anyway. Thoroughly cover the surface of the pan with the butter. Most importantly, get the corners and the edges around the bottom. Then put a tablespoon of flour in the pan, and then tap the pan to distribute the flour. To positively ensure that the cakes come out of the pan cleanly, I put a piece of parchment paper just on the bottom, and the cakes always come out clean. Pound cakes require a bit of mixing time, so I use a stand mixer rather than a hand mixer. In with the butter and the sugar. Since this recipe is from last generation, it actually calls for shortening. I know what you're thinking. Oh no, shortening. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're mocking me. Am I mocking you? Am I mocking you? Yes, I'm mocking you. I'm just reading the lines. Stick with the script. This isn't in the script. This isn't in the script. What are you doing? I wanted to add some excitement for the audience. They're watching this. This is supposed to be entertaining. You know, I get paid overtime. I get paid overtime. Cut, 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 cut. You can't yell cut. I yell cut. Okay, but stop that. Stop it. Back to the shortening. I use a Wonder Cup to measure it. This is perfect for measuring any semi-liquid, semi-solid, such as shortening. 2 parts, an empty cylinder with measurement markings on it, and a pusher. You insert the pusher and adjust it up to the measuring point that you want. Here we want 2/3 of a cup. Then you fill it with the shortening level to the top. Voila! To release, just push from the bottom of the cylinder and scrape off into the bowl. Easy cleanup too. Attach the paddle and cream for about 5 minutes. You'll need to stop the mixer and scrape down the bowl once or twice. And toss in the salt. Continue mixing for a total of about 5 minutes. Five eggs at room temperature, of course. We add the eggs. What are you doing? Stop that. That's so rude. They can hear you. What is that? Is it good? Sorry. Come on. Sorry about that. We add the eggs one at a time, mixing thoroughly between each addition. Then in with the vanilla. I really recommend using a good vanilla. Better ingredients taste better. To measure the milk, and really any liquid ingredient, I like to use these OXO brand measuring cups. There are measuring markers inside the cup that you can leave sitting on the countertop, and then simply fill the liquid until you reach the desired amount. This recipe requires that we sift the flour. To do that, I like to use a strainer or a sieve. You measure the flour first and then sift. You don't sift the flour, then measure it. There's a difference between 3 cups of flour sifted and 3 cups of sifted flour. At some point, toss in the baking powder so it'll be sifted into the flour as well. We alternate adding the milk and the flour mixture. Start with the milk, about 1/3 of it. Then mix thoroughly. Then add in about 1/3 of the flour mixture. Continue until the flour is fully incorporated. Then repeat twice more. When everything is thoroughly mixed, we need to add the coconut. I like to use a long strand shredded coconut, sweetened, rather than the dried desiccated. The dried stuff just doesn't cut it. This only needs a quick fold. Fill the pans, dividing the mixture evenly between the two. Into the oven for about 1 hour and 10 minutes. It may need more time. Check for doneness by using a toothpick in the center of the cake. Before the beautiful cakes cool, we want to make a quick coconut flavored simple syrup. Cup of sugar, half a cup of water, and a generous teaspoon of coconut extract. Find genuine coconut extract as opposed to the artificially flavored coconut extract. Better ingredients taste better. We're going to bring this to a quick boil, and then we're going to pour it over the cake. The simple syrup has boiled. I'm going to pour it into a cup with a spout. With a skewer or a fork with long tines on it, poke a few holes into the cake. We're going to want the syrup to be absorbed into the cakes. And let them cool completely. The cakes have cooled, mostly. I want to flip one onto this serving platter so that I can slice it and serve it. To do that, we want to get a thin-edged spatula and simply push down along the edges carefully. Make sure you don't rip the sides of the cake. And each end flip it onto the cutting board. This is not a cutting board. Flip it onto the cooling rack. Comes right out. We peel off the paper. This was our insurance policy. And then the platter, and flip over. And with a serrated knife, we want to carefully cut the cake into nice serving pieces. Taste, that's my favorite time. This cake absolutely smells wonderful. I love coconut, not as much as I love almond, but I love coconut. You can tell from the slice that it's so moist. I took a center cut. I know the ends will be have a little bit more crust on them than the other pieces. Nothing wrong with the crust, and actually the topping on the cake is very crispy. It flakes off. I remember as a kid, we used to fight over who gets more of the crust. Wonderful. I'm just going to take a piece. This is really good. Very tender. It's sweet, and you'd expect it to be sweet from all the coconut and the simple syrup that's soaked into the cake. This is to die for. It's really delicious. As you can tell, it's not a formal cake. When you do cut it, even with a serrated knife, there will be crumbs that litter the plate. Each crumb is just as good as the last. It's not my birthday, but the taste of this cake reminds me of what a special day it is when you get to eat this. This cake is wonderful. It really is a treat. Add this cake to your list of favorites. If you enjoyed this recipe, give us a like, a thumbs up on YouTube. Appreciate any comments you have. If you're not a subscriber, now's the time to subscribe. Click the little button below. Until next time, this is it for Sweet Spot. Am I mocking you? Am I mocking you? Yes, I'm mocking you. Where did this come from? This isn't in the script. Stick with the script. You're eating, I'm eating.